Now, it is much more important that you watch this video through than you see this intro. But yes, this part of the video proves my point, okay? When I talk about how this guy preyed on black women, you know, really black people, okay? Period. And maybe part of the reason why he was thrown under the bus is because he was mixed and he wasn't pure white. And a lot of these whitewashed people who help the white establishment out and the white hate groups and you know, who have legitimate power, who are law enforcement and shrinks and stuff, they think they're so cool, they think they're so smart, and then they get thrown under the bus because these people don't really care about you. To them, not only are you the race that they don't like, but you are a traitor to your race. And what they're doing is for the sake of their race. So how do you think they feel about a race traitor, you idiots? So this white cop was accused of raping, well, he's white in Pacific Islander, but you know, black women, 13 black women, okay? And I bring this up in this video particularly because this has everything to do with what I'm going to talk about for the rest of the video, which is psychiatry, the ills of psychiatry, and my personal story about how I've been thoroughly exposing psychiatry and I've been harassed by the pharmaceutical industry and their allies and everyone with vested interests, you know, for, you know, silencing me and trying to get my videos removed and so on. Okay, this guy chose black women to prey on. I wouldn't say because he has a fetish, because he lived in a place where black lives didn't matter too much, okay? He knew that if he did it to black women, chances are he would get away with it. Either that or there's the off chance that this guy was set up because he, you know, broke the code of silence or something, I don't know. But really, either way, it proves my point. The bottom line is the system is not fair and people prey on black people. So my case shouldn't really shock anyone. When a black man speaks out against the system, anyone who doesn't believe me or is shocked hasn't been paying attention to current events, doesn't know anything about history, doesn't know anything about mental health, doesn't know anything at all. Okay? So it is appalling that these 13 women were raped by law enforcement. What is more appalling is that law enforcement colludes with mental health to kill over 500,000 people a year in Western countries alone. I'm going to prove to you that. I'm going to prove that to you definitively in the next 2 clips. I have doctors' testimonies. And remember, they're not the ones on the industry payroll. They're the ones who are putting their reputation and their life on the line to do the right thing. Therefore, it is my job to protect them. Because not everyone who is a whistleblower, a political activist, or a revolutionary is a warrior. Okay? So this guy, you know, he gets found guilty, but that's beside the point. It was after 13 women were raped, and only because society is highly feminist. There's a lot of women's rights groups, and there's a Black Lives Matter movement going on, and so on and so forth. If it wasn't for that, he might not have been convicted. Okay? So now this video must be a lot longer than I wanted it to be, because you people need to know the truth. I have 3 clips that prove psychiatry is a murderous fraud. And if you support psychiatry, you are complicit in the murder of over 500,000 people annually in Western countries alone. And that it messes up your coordination and balance.
Antidepressants are killing people. A recent report claims the drug kills an estimated 500,000 Americans and Europeans annually. Efficiency trials funded by pharmacy companies are biased, it shows. The study also found psychiatric drugs actually cause 15 times more suicides than reported by the FDA. Not to mention some of the side effects like mania, nervousness, and paranoia. The list just goes on. Nonetheless,
well, I would play the whole clip, but this video is going to be long as it is because I'm attached to a 15-minute video. So,
my name is Peter Gertje. I'm a director of the Nordic Cochrane Center in Copenhagen and professor of research design and analysis at the University of Copenhagen. 2 years ago, I found out that our prescription drugs are the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer. Our drugs kill around 200,000 people in America every year, and half of these people die while they do what their doctors told them. So they die because of the side effects. The other half die because of errors. And it's often the doctors that make the errors, because any drug may come with 20, 30, or 40 warnings, contraindications, precautions, and so on. No doctor in the world knows about all this. So they give patients drugs that they should not have given them, that interact dangerously with other drugs or food items or so on. And then the patients die. That's the other half. So the other thing I found out 2 years ago was that much of what the drug industry does fulfills the criteria for organized crime in US law. And they behave in many ways like the mafia does. They corrupt everyone they can corrupt. They have bought every type of person, even including ministers of health in some countries. So there is a huge amount of corruption. In my country, for example, Denmark, we are regarded as having very little corruption. But yet we have thousands of doctors on industry payroll, although we are just 20,000 doctors. So this is an effective kind of corruption. The drug industry buys the professors first, then chiefs of department, then other chief physicians, and so on. They don't buy junior doctors. So when several affect the brain, and old people tolerate that very, these drugs affect the brain, and old people tolerate that very, very badly. They fall, and when they break a hip, a quarter of them die. And for example, antidepressant drugs are used in more than 10% of our elderly.
So, you know, basically nothing he's saying, either these video clips in their entirety contradicts what I'm saying. I just don't have that much time. I know it's going to be 18 minutes long as it is, but think about how this affects my finger. Okay, there's the stitches. For those of you who don't believe, you know, if I decide to make the other video, you know, put a filter on it because of the way I'm dressed. Anyway.